Have you ever had the feeling that people just don't get you? Maybe you see things from a different perspective. Maybe you feel things incredibly deeply. Maybe you feel like you have a direct connection to the spirit world, and others kind of think you're weird. Well, in this conversation that I had with Valencia, she explained that since she was a kid, she's always felt this connection, and she knew that there was more to Christianity and God than what she was learning in church. And when she started questioning, it kind of ruffled some feathers. But when she had an experience with sacred plant medicines, ayahuasca and others, she did feel like she had an opening to connect with the divine. So check out our conversation. I think you'll enjoy this one. It's time to upgrade your life. Welcome to the Conscious Evolution Podcast. I'm Dr. Andrea Pennington, Chief Psychedelic Officer for Innate Vitality. In this podcast and our live events and retreats, we explore ways to hack enlightenment by integrating ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience with transpersonal psychology. From plant medicine and psychedelics to breathwork, mindfulness, and neurofeedback, my guests and I will shine a light on the unique capacity that we have to use our conscious mind to evolve individually and collectively as a species. Tune in each week on your favorite podcast player or the Pennington Media YouTube channel for interviews and discussions about holistic healing of trauma and adverse childhood experiences, burnout recovery, and intentional wellness. Thank you so much, Valencia, for joining me for this special conversation about psychedelics and elevating consciousness. Welcome.
Blessings, Goddess. Thank you so much for having me in your podcast.
Well, it's an honor. I'm so happy that we connected on social media and that you were open and willing to talk about your journey. And
absolutely.
I love that you're in South Africa. I'm here in France. We can connect. And I love that we share a similar mission, and that is to raise God consciousness on the planet. I know what that means for me, but could you tell me, what does that mean for you?
That's a very deep thing that I like engaging on. What it means to me, raising God consciousness, means knowing your true self, knowing what your full purpose here on earth it's all about. God consciousness to me means knowing your true self, knowing your true purpose, and understanding the reason why God made each and every one of us. For me, it's a symbol that shows that God has a personality, has a trait, and has different parts of himself, and he just wanted to have a manifestation, a manifested form of what God is all about. And the different things that we see and meet, they are all a physical manifestation of God's purpose in this universe. Yeah.
Wow. So when did you first have this sort of woke consciousness, that recognizing that we are all manifestations of the divine?
So it actually started when I was quite young, because I would feel my energy differently when I'm in a worship center, when I'm in a space where people are joyous, happy, and engaging with nature. I would feel so connected with the earth. I would feel so connected with animals. So in varsity, I actually did zoology, but the intention, what they were teaching was absolutely outside of what I wanted to engage on when it comes to animals. And that's when I realized that, you know what, something is different about me, because I would walk in a room or in a space where there are animals, but I will feel so calm, and the animals will also change their energy around me. I would walk next to flowers, plants, and I would feel so good about it. And every relationship that I have with every individual, they always describe it as, you're so friendly, you're so welcoming. And that's when I realized that, you know what, something is different about me. I don't seem to have any conflicting energy with anyone, but always come to a point of a resolution. So yeah, that's when I realized, quite young. I think I was 7 or 8.
Oh, wow. That's very young.
Yeah, and I did serve in churches most of the time. And I realized as I was doing my research to understand my full purpose, I'm a life path 7, and I have my personality trait is 7 too. And my karmic debt is also under 7. So I have a lot of sevens. I have a lot of sevens in my life path. Yeah.
So what does that mean? How did you find out what your life path was? How did you find out that you had this karmic debt of servanthood?
Yes. I actually did a research on it because I couldn't understand the things which are happening in my being, especially the rise and falling. Why would I sense so many energies around me? Why did I, even if I were to read parts of the Bible, it's like I would have a full vision of what was happening in that space. And I quickly understood it because when I was 10 serving in the church, they had said we have to go on 40 days Daniel fast. And in my side, I was like, you know what? Let me check if we have to do 40 days of Daniel fasting. And I found out quite quickly that Daniel was actually a vegetarian. He didn't eat anything else but vegetables. And I engaged around it at church and I said, but I don't think that's what it means. I would always say, I don't think that's what it means. And I quickly felt that there was some information missing in the Bible. And I started researching on other stuff to say, if I move beyond the Bible, what else is there? And then I found the I am presence discourses, that there are other ascended masters, there are other guardians, there are other teachers out there that really are the workers of the light. And then in 2015, that's when I realized that you can call yourself a light worker if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what was the reaction within your church? I mean, you had been serving in the church since a kid. Did they think you were crazy going against the Bible or going outside?
They literally said that. They said, I am going against the principles of the Bible. There is no greater book. There is no greater truth apart from the Bible. And I'm obviously, the energy started changing for me. I had to move away from the church and tried another one. But it seems like the reactions were always the same. And I started not going to church from that point on. Yeah.
So how did you come to ayahuasca?
That is the big question. So, wow, ayahuasca actually sort of came to me while I was still doing my researches on what is happening. I needed to know the deeper truth of who I am. I needed to really find out, is there a way where I can connect with God beyond just reading about God, beyond just praying and meditating? Is there a way that I can feel like I'm sitting with God and having a conversation? I actually typed that on Google and they said there's a medicine called ayahuasca. So from that point on. But in my head, I'm like, I have to go to Brazil, the Amazon or Peru to actually take that medicine. But a revelation happened when my mom passed away in 2020. That December, 27th of December 2020, I had my first blunt. I won't lie on that one. I had my first ganja experience. And the people I had that experience with are Rastafarian. And I told them that, you know what, there is this medicine called ayahuasca that I want to try. Have you heard of it? They said, no, they've actually done it before. I said, in South Africa? No. Ayahuasca in South Africa. They said, yes, we do have ayahuasca in South Africa. And then on the 31st of December 2020, I took St. Petro. It was my first time experience with having San Pedro, and at that time I was still that my psychiatrist had already diagnosed me with depression. At that time I was on medicine, but I didn't like taking that medicine. I would take the medication twice a week. I didn't take it on full terms because I didn't really like that experience. Yes.
So was the medication and the diagnosis before your mother passed? Had you already been diagnosed?
Yes, it was before my mother passed when I got diagnosed. But then I realized that there's probably something else. Maybe I can take something else. The medication changed my entire mood. I couldn't feel anything anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like not having any sort of emotions.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I would take the tablets to help me sleep, to help me cope with stress. I would skip a day and take it, skip another day and take it. And then that's when I disclosed, when I went to this retreat, that's when I disclosed that, you know what, I actually, when I come out of pharmaceutical drugs, they diagnosed me with depression. I know it's not depression, it's because I'm misunderstood all the time. A lot of people don't understand who I am, what I do, because I pick up on energies around me. So I would, and I'm a truth teller. I can't lie. I would just bluntly say something and it would create a lot of hedges around me. People would move away and that caused me the depression.
Yeah.
But I knew that it had nothing to do with my brain. It had everything to do with my soul and my energy. It was not in the right place. And when I experienced the golden teachers, and then,
wait. Let's go back to San Pedro first. Let's take them one at a time. I did not know we were going all there. So, okay. Yeah. First experience was with San Pedro. This was before ayahuasca?
This was before ayahuasca.
Okay.
It was with San Pedro. And we did San Pedro on a very hot day. And then we took a hike. We took San Pedro and we went on a 15 kilometers hike. Instantly. The sun on our heads and our body, but it went amazing. That's when I started realizing that the earth is alive. The earth is really alive. There's nothing dead about it. And after that, the following day, I had an experience with mushrooms when we took our golden teachers. We took 5 grams each. Imagine I started with all of these huge grams.
We call 5 grams a heroic dose. Okay. Golden teacher. Okay.
Golden teacher, 5 grams. And I tell you, Dr. Pennington, I started speaking in tongues. But I understood what I was saying. I just realized that people are not getting what I'm saying. And then I stopped. I quickly stopped. I went, I need to keep quiet because I'm getting what I'm saying. And then in 4 months' time, that's in April 2021, last year, that's when I had my experience with ayahuasca. But I kept on manifesting it. I kept on asking, when are we having ayahuasca? Who's bringing ayahuasca? When are we having an ayahuasca ceremony? And then they kept on saying, V, ayahuasca has to come to you. You don't ask for it like that. I went, okay.
Now, other than the hike with San Pedro, when you did the 5 grams of golden teacher, was it in a ceremony setting? Like, what was that setting like?
It was a fire ceremony. We had a fire dance ceremony when we did the golden teachers. It was amazing. I started working with the elements of fire and ether at that moment because they were combined in that. And we were dancing. All of us were dancing in that ceremony. But the healing was magnificent.
Tell me about that. What was healed in you?
I realized that there's nothing wrong with me. Imagine. That's when I found out that, what? There's absolutely nothing wrong. I'm actually perfect. I just have a different calling. I just I'm awake. That's the difference, that I was associated with a lot of people who were vibrating in the 3D realm. And at that time, I didn't realize that I had already reached my sixth dimension consciousness. And over time, it kept on opening up and opening up and kept on opening up. That was amazing for me to experience at that time, to say there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that the people you're associated with are on a lower vibration. They're not, they can't hear what you're saying. They can't hear it because they're not ready for it.
Wow. And so you felt completely safe in that fire ceremony.
Absolutely.
All of your needs were taken care of. You felt comfortable letting go and going into such, yeah.
Sure. So that's when I met Goddess Isis.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was amazing. It felt like she was taking me through the Ethiopic country, which was Africa as a whole, Ethiopia, like the entire Africa is Ethiopia, the teachings, the deeper learning. We will engage on that some other time. But it felt amazing to even know that she is a reincarnation of Mary Magdalene and everyone else that I've learned about after that experience. It was wow. It was wow.
So did she come to you in a vision? Did you see her? Did you talk to her? Or was it just like an energy transfer?
It was an energy transfer. And the lady who was next to me, because she was doing it quite some time, and then I was saying, Isis. And then she said, what? And it was my first time. I didn't know what was that all about. And then kept on saying it, and she guided me through to let me know who that is, and said, no, I must just listen in to the messages that she has.
Wow. Okay. So take us to last April. Mother
Yes,
Ayahuasca was present again.
So we get a poster. There was a shaman coming from Brazil. He said he is coming to South Africa and he wants to perform a Santa Daime, Santa Maria ceremony in South Africa. And he was alerted that there is a Rastafari community which he would like to engage with. And at that moment, I was still connected with the Rastafari community. I still am right now. And then they set up a poster and said, Valencia, here's what you've been looking for. We would like to have you in that experience. And we had it here in South Africa, Johannesburg. The experience was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. It felt so personal. It felt so deep. And I was aware that for everyone in the room, it felt personal. It felt deep. Everyone was going through their own journey. And I found out a lot of stuff there. So he told us that the brew was at the shamanic temple for 5 years, the one that we are going to take. For 5 years, it's been brewed and placed there by the temple, prayed over. And then it was meant to have a mission, and the protea flower was used as it was in South Africa, and that is our national plant. The protea flower was used there. We did light some candles. The whole ceremony set up. We sat in a formation. Everyone had a seat, and luckily for me, I had a seat right next to the shaman. He placed me right next to him. And then there were other tribe leaders who knew about the Santa Daime ceremony, who organized it, who were quite close with the shaman at that time. And I was just in their table, and then there were other people around us too. We took 3 cups.
Oh. So wow. Okay. And did you do this in the morning or in the evening?
We started the ceremony at 8 p.m. So
Okay.
we did an all-night ceremony
Yeah.
with the scented ivy. The first cup was amazing. I would drink that medicine all the time. I felt like that.
Really? It didn't.
Can I?
The
I drink it.
taste wasn't horrible for you? Seriously? Oh my gosh.
It was so amazing. Can I have that medicine every day? I felt like
So you didn't have any hard experiences? You didn't feel
no,
bad with all the vomiting or
I didn't vomit. I
purging?
didn't purge at all. I
Not
didn't
after
purge.
3 cups?
I didn't purge at all. At
Wow.
all. The only thing I noticed was the diarrhea, but no purging at all. I didn't purge. Not at all. And
Well, diarrhea is a sort of purge. So,
yeah. The physical one through my mouth, no, I didn't experience any of that. But there were those who were purging, in the room,
okay.
through the mouth. And the first cup, when we had it, I didn't know what to expect, really. I was like, okay, we're drinking this medicine, shamanic music playing with the shaker, reading through the discourse books that we were singing songs. That's it. I was like, oh, we're just singing songs. It's again.
Yeah.
Okay, we're singing songs. Then everything started happening. It was like you were moved back to the point of creation. And at that moment, I was having deep hurt. And my relationship with my mom wasn't that great, and she passed away, and I still felt not so great. But in that moment, that relationship got healed. It's like a life path of the things that my mom went through. They were revealed to me instantly, that V, your mom didn't choose this for herself too. She didn't. She went through so many traumatic experiences, and then it jumped from my mom. It went to my grandmother. It was like, what? I've never met my grandmother, but it's a whole picture of their life from when they were residing in Kwamatiport. I don't know that house, but I knew that it was in Kwamatiport. That experience, that was the first cup where it was healing my wound when it comes to my mom. It healed me. It healed me so much. And I started understanding the feminine energy that is within my lineage, the feminine struggles that they had, the challenges, the oppressions, the inability to express themselves in a way which would serve them. And then I met my great-great-grandmother, who was, they call them a sangoma. Those are shamans. I met my great-great-great-grandmother, who was a sangoma, and said, oh, wow, hi. Finally, there's one in our family who knows our life mission. I'm like, what?
Wow.
It's happening in the room. There's music playing, but my head it was amazing. It was really amazing. And then the music stopped. And the music stopped. They asked us to start breathing again, coming back to ourselves, our bodies, doing a check-in, checked in, and then they offered us the next cup. Like, okay, here is the next cup. Okay, we have more. I got, like, can I have more? Yes, can I have more? Can I just have more? Can I? Yeah. I took the second cup. And and now I did set an intention to say, okay, I'm understanding the feminine energy, the feminine history within my lineage. Can I please understand the masculine energies within my realm, within the world, within the society? And then it was revealed to me at that moment that the soul actually doesn't have a gender. It's combined. We just have to find a part in us which understands that your feminine and your masculine energy are within you. It's just right now you are within a physical manifestation of what your soul asked you to do. And on that second cup, I understood my soul mission. Why I asked to come back over and over again to do this. And it revealed to me that my life partner, the one I have a child with now, has been with me for eternity. And I understood the twin flame connection that we had. And he was also in the room during the ayahuasca ceremony. So in that
Like physically or
physically in the room,
spirit?
he was there. He was also taking the medicine. But in the second cup, my gaze was on him. It didn't move around. It was like shoo, directly on him for the entire session. And there was this thing that made me just want to stare at him, to stay there. And then it revealed the masculine energy that I was asking about. It revealed my dad did abuse me when I was young, but it also showed me why he did the things that he did. He was going through his own turmoils, and I understood that God gives everyone gifts. Even the perceived devil that we call the devil, he is fulfilling his desires and he's allowed to do whatever he wants to do, and unfortunately all of us would get those whispers and we would act upon them, but it's not them. It's them listening to what's happening in their brain. It's them acting out what they perceive to be right and good. And so in that moment my gaze was on Lutendo. He is my life partner, and I saw our life. I saw the beauty from the whole creation of the earth. There was a moment when one of the leaders in the room who was burning an incense, that's when my gaze started moving again. When he moved with the incense, I remember that very well. When he moved with the incense, it's like they were showing galaxies on how every galaxy was created. It was like a blow. Wow. I'm giving this galaxy life, I'm giving that galaxy life, I'm giving that galaxy life. And in that life giving, an intention was set to have families, to continue to bring growth into the universe. And it was divine. It was really a divine experience when it came to the second cup. On the third cup, when we received it, I needed to understand the traumas in the world. Why do we have so much trauma? Why do we have so many wars? What's happening? And then it was revealed to me that we get to be traumatized because we moved our gaze, or we've moved our focus from fulfilling the divine mission that we are supposed to carry through into this world. The minute I look into you and say, Dr. Pennington is doing 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm moving away from myself. Mm-hmm. I have to start focusing on me and move through the energy into God consciousness. And then when I come back, I start realizing that everyone is in that formation. And that's when it was revealed to me that it's like all of us, our divine selves, are sitting in a lotus, and they're drawing in the energy from the earth and bringing it to ourselves. And when we are misaligned, but our divine being is always aligned and asking us to come back to alignment, come back to alignment. And that's when I saw the importance of the practice of yoga, the practice of remembering intentionally, being an intentional person in everything that you do, being intentional in engagements that you have with people. That intention, it's another form of fulfilling God's mission in this world, to say everything that we do, we need to remember that it is granted by God. He will support us in everything that we do. If we lose our gaze, He will still give us that. If we decide to live a miserable life or self-sabotage or do whatever, He will give us that. And he can't be blamed for any of these things, because He gave us free will. And that free will, it's not to punish us, it's to actually give us an opportunity to have this magical human experience. And I also asked the question that since we are spiritual beings, why do we have this physical body? And he said, but if it was just spirit, we wouldn't have anything. It would be just empty space. Everything had to come into formation so that we can have an experience of physical touch, an experience of existing actually and fulfilling our soul missions in some one way or the other. But it's just that there was so much unlocking that happened from that moment on. There was so much unlocking. And after that ceremony, there were things I started understanding. It was like an overstanding of things,
Right.
an overstanding of everything. Like you would give me a word and I would overstand it. Like, oh, that's what it means. But I would ask myself, where did I get this information? How did I find this out? In everything, even my steps, my footprints, I feel my toes now. I feel my hands. I feel energies behind me, because from that moment, it opened up that dimension of realization, of awareness, of, yeah.
Wow. Wow. So were there any people there that had quote unquote hard trips or bad trips?
I trust that the reason they would okay, let me show you a moment. There was a moment where I scanned everyone. I was doing a scan on everyone, and I would pick up that there's somebody who's regretting a part of their life. There's somebody who is rejecting a part of their life. There's somebody who is resisting connecting with God. They're afraid. So I would pick up fear. So those ones who had a bad trip are the ones who were rejecting the medicine, who were afraid, whose intention were not quite set. Their vibration was like, oh, this is so freaky. We shouldn't be doing this. Oh my goodness, why am I doing this? Or not going into themselves and heal the thing that they want to heal. That's when they had a bad trip. That's what I realized at that moment, that you can only have a bad trip if you're rejecting something, if you're not wanting to be in the journey, or your mind is elsewhere, or you have other sort of expectations. I think when you take ayahuasca, you must have good expectations, or go in there saying, can you reveal something that I've never before? Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you also had a lifelong preparation for that work from the moment, even years before when you first heard of Aya to when it was finally offered to you. So with all of the prayer, meditation, soul searching, spiritual reading, all of that prepared you to be willing to face things that sometimes people are not willing to face. I mean, it can be very jarring to open up your subconscious and see ancestors and see trauma. I mean, that can be very painful.
I was crying. I won't lie. There were moments where I was literally crying. Like I was, especially on the second cup, when I was seeing my family trauma. I mean, the first cup, when I was seeing my family trauma, I was breaking down too. I cried. I cried so much. I've never cried like that before. I don't think I'll ever cry like that ever. Yeah, I did become hysteric there. Oh my goodness.
Well, that was me too. In my first ayahuasca ceremony in Peru, I cried for hours, just connecting with my mom. This was before my mom passed as well. She had Alzheimer's, but I was able to connect with her and see what she was suffering with, to apologize. And I mean, I wailed. I was crying so much. Yeah. But I cry in every ceremony, basically. Whether it's mushrooms or it's ayahuasca, I cry.
Yeah. But I don't think I'll ever cry like that ever, because there's something deep that I understood after that. That pain and trauma, they are self-inflicted at a point, but there are a lot of things that work to create that. A lot of things that work, especially when you are not realizing something about God, because God gave us everything that we need. He gave us everything, and we should be grateful for everything. The minute we move away from a state of gratitude, then we experience suffering. The minute we move away from a state of bliss, we just move through to suffering instantly. If we move away from love, we go through to suffering. If we move away from joy, we go through to suffering. And that's it. That's it.
So it also sounds like for you, having a practice of yoga and meditation, you've been able to integrate all of these mind expanding experiences into your day-to-day life. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I said to myself, I will be a big moving prayer always, always intentionally so, and connecting with hearts and loving everyone, regardless of you're a stranger, you're somebody that thinks you have conflicts with me. I will love you. I will love you so much. I learned from the ceremony too that love heals everything. Love heals everything. A smile heals everything. Smile and love just heals everything.
Wow. Wow. I'm so grateful for you sharing these experiences. And so the next question I have is, would you do it again? Whether that's
Always.
mushrooms like golden teachers, she already said always, or ayahuasca, would you do them again? Are they legal? I hate to put you on the spot, but is it legal in South Africa?
I don't think they know anything about it in South Africa. Yeah, I don't think they know anything about it because it's a strange medicine. I mean, I also didn't think it will come into the country, but it was there, you know. It is it's sort of like a private thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very private. It's very private thing to do. It is quite illegal. I mean, ganja is still illegal in South Africa. So imagine ayahuasca.
Yeah.
It is. And the mushroom industry too. It's quite illegal, but I'm starting my own mushroom backyard thingy. I've got spores.
Okay, got spores. We'll cultivate. How
Yes.
exciting. How exciting. Well, Valencia, it's such a joy to connect with you. Thank you again for sharing your experience so that we can demystify what Black and brown people around the world are doing to heal and to explore psychedelics. Hopefully, ideally in a safe setting, like for you felt very safe. It felt very led and held in a sacred container. But I'm really grateful for you opening up. And if people want to connect with you, what is your Instagram handle?
It's vtsakani.khoza@gmail.com. Apparently, it's linked to my email address.
Okay.
I created my account like that. And it's also linked with my Facebook account, which is Valencia Khoza on Facebook. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any website.
I will put it in the description just in case people want to connect with you on social media.
Yeah, I also want to add on that note of having a safe space to take the medicine because it works with a lot of energy and vibrations. You must be in a space where everyone is in sync because imagine if you're taking a mushroom in a room full of people who are vibrating on a different level. Maybe they are on different types of drugs and alcohol. You will pick up their energies and you will lose your mind because you need to remember your third eye opens, your crown chakra opens, your entire etheric body is activated, meaning anything it's coming to you, everything is coming to you. So imagine you carrying people that you don't know. I mean, even in the ceremony, they were warning us about picking up other people's energies because they were going through something. But just because I am curious, I did it. I looked into everyone's soul. And I picked up a lot of traumas. And then I had to bring my gaze back to me again because picking up other people's traumas isn't so good for you. So if you are in a space where you think, you know what, it's not a recreational thing, ayahuasca. You can't be recreational with it. Mushrooms are not something to be recreational about. I mean, we were also talking about the use of marijuana. It's not a recreational thing. Those things are deep medicines which are meant to heal your brain, your thought processes, your heart, your energy as a whole. They're not recreational drugs at all. at all, and they should be respected and used in ceremonies always.
I love it. I'm in total agreement with you. All right. Well, we will connect again, I'm sure. It sounds like there might be some more experiences for us to share on.
Yes.
So once again,
I would love to have a ceremony with you.
Well, let's manifest that. We'll pick a country where it's a little more legal, maybe, and I'll join you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Take good care.
Thank you. You too. Cheers.
Many blessings. Want more info on how psychedelics may improve your mental well-being, how to choose a retreat, or what to look for in a shaman? Get on the Psychedelic Curious email journal. The link is in the show notes and on my website, AndreaPennington.com. On my website, you can also sign up for my free masterclass series, where each month I take a deep dive into a topic in holistic healing, trauma recovery, self-love, and resilience. Thank you for tuning into the Conscious Evolution Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with a friend. Also, leave us a review and a rating on your favorite podcast player. This helps us get the content out to a larger audience. And to watch the video version of this podcast, visit the Pennington Media YouTube channel.